the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition's Town Hall meeting for our 2025 kickoff for our campaign year for the Menstrual Hygiene Day, which is always on May 28th. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We thank you for taking out time to watch us, whether you're watching us live today or whether you are watching us on the replay. We thank you for your time. My name is Angel Charmaine, and I am the CEO of Speak Up Sis LLC, one of the coalition members. And I have with me here today Wellasani Malkwe Inking. She is the founder of Wellasani Foundation, and she's going to be talking with you today as well. And I am horrible at pronouncing her name, but Sakwe Mbone, and I know I said it wrong. She stems, but she's going to pronounce her name for you herself and to correct me. But I want to say welcome to the both of you and everyone else who's going to be chiming in today. We have some amazing people who will be coming today. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. And again, I want to welcome you to the IMAC Town Hall Live. It's our virtual space where we come together to discuss, learn, and take action for menstrual hygiene equity. And I am honored to be your host and moderator for this important discussion. We're streaming live, which means you're a part of this conversation. So you can drop your thoughts, your questions, and your reactions in the comments, whether you're watching live or on the replay. And I'll do my best to engage with you, engage with as many of you throughout the event. So before we get started, I would like for the two of you ladies to introduce yourselves before we start our official town hall program for today. Willie, would you like to start?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our first town hall for 2025. We are so excited to launch this year's Menstrual Hygiene Day activities, and it's always very pleasing and full of enthusiasm that together as the Menstrual Hygiene Coalition are so bubbly about everything that is going on. But I'm Wolisane Mokwela and President of Wolisane Foundation and the of the Menstrual Hygiene Coalition.
Thank you so much, Willie, for introducing
Thank you.
yourself. And of
Too
course,
short.
being here. Thank you for being here with us today as well. Southway, you're up next. Looks like we're having just a little bit of technical difficulty. Can you hear me?
Good evening from wherever you are in the world. My name is Sakwembone. I am the founder of System Foundation, also a founding member of the International Menstrual Association. I've been a member for the last, and I'm very excited for this year's town hall because we have amazing projects, we have amazing ideas, menstrual hygiene, also collectively working to continually impact of girls, women, girls in refugee, both in Cameroon and in neighboring Cameroon. So for this opportunity.
Thank you for being with us here today as well. And you know what? We're going to work through every bit of difficulty that we have. It is okay. What I want every single person watching today to understand is that we are an international coalition, which means we are bringing women and men together from throughout the world. We are not just in Cameroon. We are not just in the US. We have members in Germany. We have people who are connected in replicates in France and also just all over the world. So please extend us a little grace as we are all on different time zones and we all have different internet connection situations, but we're going to work through them all today. So please stick with us. And we also have the beautiful Belle Sonke. And I pray I say everybody's name right, but y'all know this country girl from Georgia. It's just gonna sound like what it sounds like. And please just give me some grace. But Belle, thank you so much for joining us today as well. If you will, please introduce yourself to everyone.
Thank you so much. Good evening or good morning, depending on your time zone. And to you, all my colleagues, you guys rock. I'm Belle Sonke, Mirabelle, but popularly known as Belle Sonke, the founder of Network for Solidarity, Hope and Empowerment. I am also one of the founding members of the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition. It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure, excitement during this period when we have to, like mobilize with the new projects, going global. We're not going to focus only on Nigeria. It's another exciting year that we are going to live. So I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you so much.
Again, thank you, ladies, for joining us. And as you all are watching, we will have more guests who may come in throughout our time here in the town hall. So we're going to also say hello to those people who are already in the chat and are here to be a part of this with us. And I'm just going to show your names and say hello. Thank you so much for joining us, Clinton. Thank you so much for the compliment as well. Um, we appreciate you being a part of this conversation. Wherever you are viewing from, feel free to leave us a comment. If you have any questions about anything that we're talking about today, please feel free to talk to us in the chat. Hello, how are you, Prince? Thank you so much for being in the space as well. So we're going to go ahead and continue, but before we get started, I want to take a moment to make sure that I acknowledge all of our coalition members. As you have already met, Welasani and Belle and Sakwe, as well as myself. But we also have other coalition members who are not with us at the moment. But I want to make sure that we thank them for their service with the coalition as well. Welly, if you'll do me a favor um, and mention the members who are not with us at this time. And I can't hear you. We can't hear you. Okay.
Okay, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. So I have Elvis Quete, as Auntie Mamo will say. He's unavoidably absent. And we also have he's from IAF organization and the Menstrual Hygiene and Education. We also have the Afro Giveness movement by Franca Mai. She too, she's held up with many activities in Nigeria. She cannot be here right away, but she is one of the founding members as well, and she sends her regards to you all. And Veneta Mwela Foundation, she's going to be joining us in a couple of minutes. So she's also very busy somewhere else, but she'll join us by the end of the live stream. So the other three members are not here right now.
Thank you, Willie. I just wanted to make sure that we acknowledge them so that they know that we appreciate them for the service that they put in to get the work done with the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition. Everyone's dedication to menstrual health and equity is driving real change with the work that we're doing and in the world, and we appreciate everyone's commitment. Hello, Rosita. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us today as well. And we appreciate that you are loving the work that we are doing with the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition. Thank you so much. Our purpose for being here today, menstrual hygiene equity is not just a women's issue, it's a human rights issue. Around the world, millions of people face stigma, lack access to necessary products, and are forced to miss school or work simply because of a natural biological process. That's unacceptable. And that's why we're here today to break the silence and address the barriers and explore real solutions to ensure that everyone has access to safe and dignified menstrual health resources. The first part of our town hall is going to be a keynote address from our fearless leader, Willisani. She is the founding member and organization for the coalition, and the rest of us have come along the years to make sure this work gets done. And so, Willisani, are you ready to address the world?
Okay, thank you very much, Angel. Thank you again, everyone, for being part of our first town hall to talk about menstruation. I want to first of all start by thanking each and every member of the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition. If I should piggyback on what Angel has said, for the past 5 years, we have been working tirelessly to make sure that menstrual hygiene is a normalcy of life and to break the shame, silence, and stigma around menstruation. In 2019, I was doing this on my own, and I had so many challenges, working in this space alone, and I felt the need for us to come together and do it. So when I met Angel, Angel was so quick, jump ship, jump in, and also Belle, Bonnet, Elvis, Veneta, and Franca, which I want to thank very much because it's not easy working together for a common goal. Sometimes it gets challenging, sometimes our ego comes in play, but I want to really thank them for staying the course, for making sure to continue with our goal, is to make sure that every girl in display setting and every less privileged girl has access to hygiene products. So we have been able to visit menstrual hygiene refugee camps since 2019 in Nigeria, and also to reach out to IDPs in Cameroon. Over the years, we have had webinars, we have had a whole army of advocates, more than 200 of them, who have joined us in this advocacy for proper menstrual hygiene. And also, we have been able to bring on board stakeholders for greater advocacy. I cannot thank our advocates enough for amplifying our voices because we could not be able to do this just the 7 of us, but they have come on board and they are in every nook and cranny of Cameroon, of other countries, which our voices are heard everywhere. My mantra for this advocacy, for this menstrual hygiene coalition is we all have failed. It is one girl who is displaced and cannot be able to have access to menstrual hygiene. Pushing for more support in refugee camps because over the years when we have visited those camps, it is really, really terrible there. I mean, we take it for granted because we may be bourgeoisies or we have access to parts just at the click. But in the camps, they have to use dirty racks, they have to use towels, they have to use their clothes to collect the blood. And so that's why we are pushing for everyone to come on board and support us in this advocacy for menstrual hygiene. It gets challenging sometimes. We must come first. It's not easy to do the work that we are doing. But with your support and by the grace of God, we are able to do it. I want to thank everyone who has been supporting us over the last 5 years. I want to thank the community of Augusta. They have supported us so mightily. In fact, I should say more parts have come from Augusta than from Cameroon. Thank you so much to Angel and her community over there in Augusta. And thank our friends, our family, our supporters of each and every one of our organizations that you've heard before. They have been doing it to them. All the members of our foundation, all the members of our individual foundations that I see some here. I see the cleaning. I see Helen. I see Israel. I see Rosita Hunter. We thank you so much for being here. I mean, we not take it for granted. And I just want to call on you all to support us. The International Menstrual Hygiene, like I mentioned before, wants to make sure that no girl in a refugee camp, no girl in an IDP center lacks any menstrual hygiene product, be it pads, be it underwear, be it soap, be it toilet roll, whatever. So we are counting on your support. We are counting on your advocacy. We need your voice to get on board and make it happen for us. So launch our activities in the days ahead. We're going to be having flyers that are going to different webinars that are going to announce the Red Charity, which is our major event in Cameroon, the US, and also our visit to the refugee camps for 2025. And we are planning to go out of our way to touch many, many more girls, thousands of girls. Give us your donations, give us your resources you have to ensure that we're able to seamlessly in this space. Once again, I thank you all for joining. Very busy on Sunday, and of course, tomorrow. So if you're here, it means you really have at heart. So thank you again for joining us, and let's have the conversation. Really enjoy. You have the microphone.
Thank you so much. And what an impactful message from Willasani. Since 2019, we have been doing this work. And I just want to say, I'm really excited about where we're headed. The work that we've done thus far has been astounding to know that we have made, I want to say, I think there's been a trip to the camps just about every year, if not every year, which is pretty awesome. But to know what we are working towards is even more powerful. So thank you for your leadership and thank you for sharing with us today. So we're going to take this conversation just a little bit deeper. And I'm going to invite everyone who is here with us currently to join in on this panel discussion. And if you are watching, again, thank you so much for joining us today. We ask that you will chime in the conversation. Hello, Helen. And thank you for joining us today as well. Please join us in the join the conversation in the comments. We've got some questions that I am happy to be moderating today, this conversation. And we're all going to share our thoughts about questions that pertain to mental health, wellness, and awareness. And the first question that I would like to pose today deals with tackling the stigma surrounding menstrual health. And I know there are people in this world who still say, What stigma?" But there is a stigma, and we know that there's a stigma. So I would like to ask everyone, how does stigma manifest in different communities? And how can we break down harmful myths and taboos surrounding periods? Is there anyone who would like to start first? I would like maybe start with Belle. I love when you smile. That tells me that you're ready. Would you like to start the conversation, Belle?
Okay. Okay, thanks, Angel. Thanks, Welitani. Thanks, Bonnet, for being here. And to the two others, I'm not really saying who they are. I always say menstruation is non-negotiable. So for me, it's something I take like normal. Okay, I think I have gone past. But we try to mentor the young girls nowadays. Sometimes when they menstruate, they don't even want to go out and things like that. I remember this the last vacation. My niece was at home, and she wanted menstrual hygiene products, but she was ashamed to go to a store that is not far to get them because when we were growing up, our parents used to buy menstrual hygiene products in bulk because we're so many girls. But now I don't know because I'm trying to talk of about 30 years ago. And if we talking today, children of nowadays are still a little bit shy about menstruating, which is, menstruation, which is a normal thing, then we need to have a rethink. I don't see any, because to have a child, if you don't menstruate, you can't have a child. So if your wife don't menstruate, you can't have children. This is something we really have to normalize. It's nothing, it's not filthy. It's just a normal thing that's the beginning of the release of an egg that will make you a father or make you a mother. So for me, I think what we are doing, we're already talking about menstrual hygiene every year, we're getting boys on board. So we cannot do it alone. We cannot do this thing alone. We need everybody, be you a man, be you a brother, be you a sister. Now, even at home now, I try to get my nephews who are younger to know that they have to take care of their sisters who are bleeding. We have to bleed in dignity. You see what I mean? For me, it's like the more we talk about it, people will understand that nobody is ashamed again and no need to be stigmatized because somebody is bleeding. We all, our children, our daughters, our nieces, our in-laws, they have to bleed in dignity. That's why, today we're talking about it. We are normalizing this conversation. So I think things are getting better. Things are really getting better. It's not like it used to be before. It's not like it used to be before, because I get questions sometimes from young guys, from young boys, let me say young boys, teenagers, asking me about menstruation, and I am ready to say it as is, in the, without even blinking, if we don't do it, who's going to do it? If we don't do it as parents, because we are the parents of today, maybe our own parents who are in their 60s and 70s don't feel comfortable. Those of us who are between 30 and 50s, we should be the flag bearers. And for me now, there's no taboo topic, because if you don't teach your kids around you, they will learn it out there in another way. So we have to raise them to understand that menstruation is a normal thing and there's nothing to be ashamed of. So let's put that stigma part out of it. It's good we are going to schools. We're going to try to do as many schools as possible. And I will for me, it's like my dream going through this is to get as many red advocates, boys red advocates, let them understand, because at a certain point, it's like only girls are involved. No, it's about you, a boy, your girlfriend, your wife will have to menstruate. How do you handle it? How do you handle it? So for me, it's like, let's normalize this conversation. Let's talk. We'll walk the talk. If we have to walk in the streets and talk about menstruation without shame, I put on my red t-shirt at my convenience. They know me in my vicinity. They know me already about this, because when I start telling them, sometimes we have the pad bank there. When boys, I sometimes open the packets and start explaining to them. If your wives or your girlfriends don't have pads, come and get some. It's a normal thing. Let's normalize talking about menstruation. So for me, I think it's a thing of stigma. Stigma on menstruation is a thing of a past. So let's do it, and we are doing it. Thank you.
Oh gosh, I love it. I love your fire, your passion, your energy around the conversation. I heard you say having the conversations, talking about periods is a great way to break down the harmful myths and taboos that have plagued our communities for far too long. And I agree with you. I believe it's becoming less and less taboo. However, we have some very staunch, obstinate people in this world that we will. Oh, look at that!
Wow.
Yes, see, look at there.
And
Even
who said the stars?
yes. So,
Congratulations.
so
Congratulations.
great answer, Belle. Great answer. So, would someone else like to chime in? And hello, Cherise. We've got more guests who have joined us for our 2025 Town Hall meeting. Cherise Johnson Moore, thank you so much for joining us today. Tamika Burnett, thank you so much for joining us today. And Gladys Sharon, thank you as well for being a revocate. We thank you for joining us today as well. So, would someone else like to add your voice to this question? How does stigma manifest in different communities, and how can we break down harmful myths and taboos? Anyone else on the panel? And those of you watching, remember, you can put your responses in the comments, and I will make sure to read those as well.
Yeah, I would like to try on the probably just before when Isani comes in. Mm, I think stigma is not something that go away automatically. I mean, those keep them, but stigma is still a problem. One of the reasons why the stigma continues is cultural barriers. We still have cultures, especially in refugee camps, where you also have a very big Muslim community, um, and it's a taboo to talk about menstrual hygiene. Some of this, and even when women are menstruating, in instances they are excluded. I'm not saying this particularly only to those refugee camps, but it's very, very loud in the refugee camps. Um, Even amongst ourselves. I remember I was in a friend's house last year, and my period actually came in days earlier. I was not expecting it. I asked like that, but we were having a conversation in our living room, and all of a sudden, and before I knew, my period was there at me. Um, Luckily, we were just women there, so it wasn't such a big deal, to deal with it. But imagine if man, some men amongst us, how uncomfortable that would have been. So, the stigma is really difficult to go away, but I think conversation promoting um, uh, conversations in communities where we are able to promote an inclusive discussion around menstrual hygiene is very, very important. Also, discussions in schools where we have young girls camps can really go a long way to reduce stigma. Uh, Media and public also opportunities like what we are doing right now to, and also help reduce stigma around menstruation. I wanted to go a little bit further about some strategies that put in place. If you don't mind, unless that is
Gi- I'm
then
I'm going to give me just a second. Will you all mute your mics? There's a noise that is competing with her voice. So if you're not talking, if you'll mute your mic for me, please. Thank you. You can continue.
thank you, Angel. So that's what I have for stigma. I will go a little bit further once we have the discussions around the strategies to put in place towards menstrual equity. Thank you. Over.
Okay. I agree. Cultural barriers is something that I think is hard to talk about, especially when we talk about when we bring in religious backgrounds, different uh, uh, the way people are brought up in their communities, what they consider to be hospitable or not, or something that ladies do or they shouldn't do, right? So when we start bringing in those types of conversations, it gets a little complicated. But I think those conversations still need to happen in a way that suits that particular community. I don't believe there's a one size fit all. However, the conversations definitely need to be had. I think that's a really great point, that cultural barriers help to keep that taboo lingering in certain communities. I like the idea of having more discussions in schools as well, which adds to what Bell said about having boys be included in the conversations as well, having more of these types of conversations in schools, not just with girls and how to take care of themselves, but introducing boys into the conversations as well. So, great points. And I would like to read some of the comments that our guests have typed. Is that okay with you all? I'm going to go into the comments. All right. So, we've got Rosita Hunter. She says education is the first way to help with stigmas and false info. Absolutely. I always say people are afraid. The number one reason people continue to remain in a place of fear is because of a lack of knowledge. When you don't know about a thing, your initial reaction is to fear it because you don't know. So once we add real information and good education into the equation, then we can reduce the fear, reduce a lot of the myths, and help people to know the truth. We have Prince here says, hello, everyone. Menstrual stigma can be manifested in various ways through shameness and embarrassment. Absolutely. Lack of menstrual hygiene products, low self esteem during menstruation, withdrawal from the society. Absolutely, Prince. All of those are real reasons that stigmas remain. I am glad that you brought up the idea of a lack of menstrual hygiene products, because that is something that is where we started with the coalition, making sure, trying our best to make sure that as many girls and women who needed them have them. Although we are growing to include more targets for the coalition, this is where we started. And you're right, if you don't have the proper products, then you're going to have incidences that will definitely cause embarrassment and shame, which will help to keep that stigma going. So thank you so much for your comment and your input. Helen says, in some areas, girls often feel ashamed of their bodies when they menstruate, as their immediate environment may not show them love and support. To fight the stigma, let's open the discussion and share sanitary pads openly so that everyone knows. Hold on a second. So that everyone knows it's a normal phenomenon, is what the remainder of that says. Thank you so much, Helen, for your response as well. And that is exactly what we are working to do. And later in this conversation, we're going to talk about what some of our primary targets are for this 2025 campaign, which is to make this more sustainable for more people. And we'll get into that conversation a little later. So thank you so much for your voice in this conversation as well. We have some more guests who are joining us. Welcome to the conversation. Welcome to our 2025 Town Hall meeting for the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition. We're going to continue. Is there anyone else who would like to add anything to our first question? We're talking about tackling menstrual stigmas. And the question is, how does stigma manifest in different communities? And how can we break down harmful myths and taboos? Would someone else like to add to that question? Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and move on to our next question. We have one more response, so let's get this response in as well. Hello, Gladys Sharon, and she says most girls are stigmatized by their peers who make them feel less of themselves, and a majority by some men who have refused to accept that it is part of a woman. We should be bold at all times to educate those who are still ignorant while building our self-esteem and asking for support when need be. Gladys, I love that last part of what you said. All of it was is true, but I love that part about asking for support when you need it. Whether you are feeling stigmatized or embarrassed or shamed, or whether you just do not have the products, getting to a place where you will connect with organizations like the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition and ask for the help. It's okay to ask for the help. There are people in this world who want to help you when it comes to menstrual hygiene. So thank you for adding your voices to this conversation.
I just want to say something.
Okay, Welly?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about our context. That's Cameroon and Africa, where menstruation at the level of the house is very, very much stigmatized. And I believe that that problem starts because a girl will go from 1 year old to 11 and has never heard about menstruation. She starts to menstruate and she's afraid, she's surprised, she doesn't know what's happening to her. That's where the stigma really starts from, at the level of the fathers and the brothers. Treat it like something very, very, which word can I even use? Something that should be hidden, scary. And so we have to start breaking the silence from the whole normal. See, by 2030, I remembered as I went a period before I knew what menstruation was all about. And it's the same for many other girls who are watching us or who are on this platform. So let us start by normalizing the conversation in the home. If we start from the home, it's going to trickle down to every part of the community. But when we make it a taboo in the house, when we were silent about it in the house, when we have shame around it in the
Okay. There's a little delay, so I want to make sure I don't talk over you. So Welly says a lot of that stigma starts in the house. It starts with the leadership in the house. And by the time the girl gets to about 11 years old, she has not heard about having a period. She's not been educated on having her period. And then all of a sudden, there's a period. And now you've got all the shame. You have all of the things that arise. And are you saying that this is something that is that happens in your country of origin? Is that something that's kind of normal, if you will? Normal, not normal, but it's something that happens to lots of girls where you're from. Is that what you're saying? I think you're frozen. Sakwe, is it, can you?
Yeah, I wanted to chime in just to
Okay.
buttress what. Yes, it really starts from the home, like she said. Um, Even with the new age, we still have mothers who are afraid to talk about it to their girl child or their boy child. My son is sitting just close to me, and I just asked him if he knows anything about menstruation, and he goes, "No, mommy." So it's something I've not yet mustered the strength or the courage to talk to him about, but it's something I'm planning to do. So it starts from the home. That's just a typical example of how it happens. And if mothers lack the leadership, fathers lack the leadership to actually talk about menstrual hygiene, then it becomes very difficult for a young girl who is seeing her period to know what to do to manage it, or to navigate the stigma around menstrual hygiene. So, like I earlier said, we need to continue the discussions, especially in schools, because schools, this is where we have most of these young girls. This is where we have most of the young boys, and we can easily access them and talk about this topic. Even if they don't have the education at home, the opportunity to have these conversations in schools go a long way, not only to boost the confidence that the young girl can have whenever she's faced with that particular phase in her life. She's able to know what to do, she's able to know who to talk to, or even where to find the right support to help her navigate through that phase. So yes, both at home we have that responsibility and that leadership to have those conversations with our girls and boys, and also as a community we have that responsibility to also talk about it. So want to say the point around lacking the leadership at home is also very common in our context, in our environment, and it's something that we need to continue encouraging parents to have those conversations with their children, to be open and also trustworthy for these young girls and young boys to speak to them about what they're going through, about their bodies, about their changes they're experiencing. Yeah, thank you. Over.
Thank you for adding some context to that as well. I appreciate that. Hello, Peggy Ann. Thank you so much for joining the conversation tonight. We are in our panel discussion, and we are talking about some topics that pertain to menstrual hygiene, health, and awareness. And our very first question dealt with tackling menstrual stigma. So I'm going to go ahead and go to our next question, and and welcome, Belama. Thank you so much for joining us tonight as well as a revocate. We really appreciate you. So the second question deals with challenges and solutions. What are the biggest obstacles in achieving menstrual equity, and what strategies have you seen that have proven effective?
Okay, I'll start. Maybe Belle can come in, or Lisan at some point, or Alma. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us as one of our advocates. We are very pleased to have you. Um, One of the I did write a couple, which I was able to identify through the work that we currently do at the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition and also my foundation. One of the main challenges is access to menstrual products. If you recall, in all of our fundraising campaigns, we are always talking about policy around menstrual hygiene products. You have condoms which are free, but you never hear menstrual products are free. So we always have that question. We want to understand why we cannot have free products to women and girls. And the answer has always been very obvious. It's a very luxurious industry, um, with billions of dollars, and it's going to grow over the next 5 to 20 years. So that's the first challenge, access to menstrual products. The second aspect is also stigma, which we've talked about. And then we also have lack of advocacy and policy change around menstrual hygiene. Um, I think one of the actions that we're taking in the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition is to provide or to donate menstrual hygiene products. But if we can have policies that help to subsidize some of these products, then we can also increase access to more girls, especially vulnerable girls. And if we don't have those policies, it will be difficult for girls to continuously have access to menstrual hygiene products. Um, Another challenge is also menstrual leave. There are a lot of women who suffer the pain that comes with menstrual hygiene, especially women with endometriosis. It's very, very difficult to work when you are experiencing pain during your period. I was fascinated when I learned about 2 weeks ago that Spain actually gives menstrual leave to women when they're experiencing their yeah, when they're experiencing their period. I was like, wow, I probably should move to Spain, because I was really impressed by that legislative law. And it's something that we should also think of doing, which is a difficult thing. um, Another aspect is also the interest that NGOs and civil society have towards menstrual hygiene. um, you can agree with me that over the years the interest has drastically reduced. I have also noticed that more and more international organizations do not really give specific emphasis or attention to menstrual hygiene. You will hear WASH, you will hear about provision of water supply, provision of sanitation facilities, but you will rarely hear any innovative approaches or innovative ideas or actions that are undertaken by civil societies to ensure access to menstrual hygiene products. And if we don't have more and more civil society organizations and NGOs talking about this and coming up with innovative approaches to address this gap, then there's no one to push the government or legislative bodies to, make informed decisions that will support vulnerable women and girls to access menstrual hygiene products. So that is some of the things that I have been able to see. And in terms of strategies, one of the things that we can also look at is looking at solutions that are tailored to specific contexts. What do I mean by this? Talking about community-based solutions. So if you go to a community which is um, maybe has specific hygiene, we need to develop solutions that are tailored in that community. We can also look at peer support networks that we can build in those communities to support girls or women, especially vulnerable women, to access products. Um, Another aspect is also about networking. I think one of the things that we have been able to do through this a coalition is that we come together as individual organization, and that is a driving force. That is a very solid force that we have to come together to discuss about something that we have a particular interest on. And if we have more and more organizations who accept this kind of approach, it becomes easy for us to reflect around the kinds of solutions that we need to provide in order to improve access, in order to ensure policies and legislative laws are actually taking this matter in a very serious way, and also putting in place policies that really address menstrual hygiene in our respective communities and countries. Thank you. Over.
Ah, all great points, but I'm going to let Belle come in and add or hold a second. Gonna let her add or expound on what you said. You know?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for all those who are still here with us. I think Bonnet raised several. All her points were really good points. But on a personal note, I'll take for example managing the IMHC's pad bank in around the university area. I think I have a different perspective in the sense that despite all the awareness, the pads, we got over 100 packets last year. We have buckets, we have this thing. You try to let these girls to understand that there's a place where they can come and have free pads, because as of now, we still have that bank. The pad bank is there. I'll not tell you a lie. We've not had 10 kids out. You're raising the issue of free pads. What is happening? There's a pad bank in the middle of the university, around the university. Do we want to say university students are not vulnerable? No, there are a lot of vulnerable university students. So I'm still trying to understand what is holding them. It's not like it's a man, because we're talking of maybe some kind of stigma. It's a woman who is there. You come, this woman is cleaning, the woman who's managing the pad bank. She cleans toilets, like she does this paid toilet thing. So you can come if you are afraid. You're talking of like peer network or things like that. She's a woman like you. What does it cost you to come in and tell her, oh, I need one of those? The only thing we need, which is required, is the statistics to know that within this period we've had this number of people. And because we have a book where like we want to know, we don't even need your name, your age, your educational level. Like if you are in the university, you say you are in the university. This is some, because if we start putting the names, it's part of, like as we say, we're going to stigmatize the individuals. We want the statistics to know that around this environment, which is highly populated with girls. We know that in Cameroon, I would say 60% of university students are women. I have 14 rooms. Out of the 14 rooms, you have 9 that have girls and the other 6 women. So I'm just using like something. Even those who are there, I see them sometimes. I have to go to them and tell them, do you know there's a pad bank around which you can use? Because I know, I try to understand like a mother. I try to understand it's not because they're paying rent that they're not vulnerable. There's certain things, like this comes out like, okay, my parents will pay my 1 year rent, but there's certain small things. You see it, but how do you really solve it? I think Welly knows where I live and she understands what I'm talking about. So we need to look at, because even the free part, you put it even at the university, it's still going to pose a problem. So what is the way forward? For me, this is the biggest challenge. You can put it as condoms. I ask myself, do people, value having intercourse than, like taking care of their menstrual hygiene? Because you put the condoms, even women will pick it. So I think for me, I look at the challenge is going to be a transformational mindset. We as women, we have to transform our mindset a 360-degree and know that this thing is something, it's a natural thing. Menstruation is non-negotiable. I should freely go and buy my pad and hold it as I'm buying candies in the street. how do we get our girls to do that? This is my question. How do we get them into doing that?
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are just joining us, my name is Angel Charmaine, and I am the owner of Speak Up Sis, and this is the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition 2025 Town Hall meeting. I am joined with Belle Sonke and Safway and as well as Sani, and we are in our panel discussion time. And the question that has been posed is, what are the biggest obstacles in achieving menstrual equity and what strategies have proven effective? I have a question for you, Belle.
Okay.
Um, and I'm going to kind of play devil's advocate here, which the angel is going to play the devil's advocate here. What do you say to people who may say, well, is there, maybe they're not coming because they don't need free pads? How do you know that they need these products where you have them?
Okay. For example, you see, as I would describe it, the lady who manages the pad bank does clean toilets. You see, so sometimes when you come to give her the coin to get the coin to get into the toilet, you see the cupboard where you have this thing. At least you should it's not hidden, it's written in the like it's written. So for me, it's like women still shy away having this conversation. Yeah, because it's something that should be natural. I talk about some of these things, I don't know, as I said, I'm over 50. It was something that in the house they used to buy it in bulk. They used to buy it in bulk. That's true that when I had my first period, I never had that conversation on period or whatsoever. But later on, my father was that person who realized that he had girls. So he will go, like when he's doing the monthly groceries, he will get the big pack, the Faytex in those days. He will get that thing. And we were so many girls, friends who were living in the house as in the university days. He would just come and drop it there because he knew that we needed it. We would not have this conversation, but that was a need. It was a necessity. But today, you see, as I say, this place, the buckets are there. The bucket, it's written International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition. On the bucket, you have the pads. You have reusable and disposable pads. You see, but I will tell you, it's been 7 months. We've not given out over 10 pads.
Okay, well, I think that something that we can evaluate. Does not mean that this
To say that I just want to come at
yeah.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I just want to jump in there to say that it is true that there is still stigma and shame around menstruation, and that these girls may not even first of all be aware that those pads are free, and also there's a need for us to communicate and educate them about what we are doing. I can just say that when we led bank, we had some IDPs that joined us in the community where we were working with Bell, but we have not done a lot of sensitization at the level of the university. So maybe this year we'll partner with Ngwaikele, that's Yaoundé one, to talk with the authorities and have a conversation on outreach meeting that we have a pad bank at the university area, because it's true that actually in I know a lot of people that really actually need those dignity kits. They are either afraid, I'm not sure if it's really free because we don't have a lot of people giving those kind of things free under that milieu, and also there's just lack of information. So here, one of our objectives will be to go to Yaoundé one and raise awareness and maybe have more placards and signboards to show that we're giving free pads over there. Thank you.
Sakwe, did you want to respond?
I was about to say the same thing. I think it's just a sensitization problem. I mean, it's an amazing initiative. If we can have that in almost all the universities in Cameroon, it will go a long way. But just like Willie Sanders said, if there's one thing we've not been able to do, it's sensitizing. Someone can come there, use the bathroom or use the loo, and they're not sure if it's really free. Or also conducting assessments to understand if the kind of pads we have there is what women around that area would like to also use. Those are just some really minor evaluations or assessments that we need to conduct to have a better outreach with the products that we already have there. So we'll be looking forward to how we can develop those strategies, just like Willie Sana said. Thank you. Over.
All of these are really great points. What I want to make sure that everyone who's watching and listening to us today realize is that this is a real issue. We have real concerns. Menstrual hygiene is a real situation, and even if you are sitting in the comfort of your own home right now, and you can go to Wally World or Target or Costco or wherever you go to get your products, and you just do this. You're just gonna do it on automatic every month. This is not happening automatic for all women and all girls every month. And that is why we're here. That is why we're having these conversations. That's why these conversations are needed. I hope you are listening, taking notes. We're going to get to the part of this town hall where we're going to give you an opportunity to join us in join us in our fight with menstrual hygiene, wellness, menstrual hygiene, when it comes to being sanitary, when it comes to education, when it comes to policy, all of the things. You're going to have an opportunity to partner with us, and we're going to get there. Do you all have any other uh, comments that you would like to share before we move to our final panel discussion question for
Angel,
tonight?
many
Anything
many
else
reactions in the
you
comments.
share? I'm getting ready to. I want to make sure that you all are done here. Y'all are good? Okay. So let's go to our comments. And Kelly, I don't know Kelly directly, but Kelly is connected to somebody. Who knows Kelly? Do you all know Kelly? Do you know Kelly? Welly, no, Welly, I need you to shout out Kelly because Kelly is talking to us something serious in the comments. So
Kelly
make
is a
sure
red
you give
bucket.
Kelly
Kelly is a red
out.
bucket.
Okay, so Kelly, hi Kelly. We want to make sure that we say thank you so much, Kelly, for being a revocate. And you're already partnered with us. So we want to thank you and thank you for conversing with us in the chat. So Kelly says stigmatization begins from the family because of the inability of our parents guiding us about what menstruation is, and which turns out we rather find it as an abominable act for seeing blood coming out of your private part. Kelly also says menstrual stigma is real and it should be eradicated from the base. That's the family. Parents or family heads should be able to inform and educate their kids when they reach a certain age about menstruation. Kelly says menstrual stigma begins from the family and it should be. Kelly is not playing. Kelly says it should be trashed out from here. Parents find it difficult to educate their children about menstruation. We should be able to amplify with marginalized voices to raise awareness and promote menstrual hygiene. Absolutely, absolutely, Kelly. Thank you so much for adding your voice to the conversation. Hello, Taishika. Thank you so much for joining us in this conversation as well. Chiku says some girls are Some girls get stigmatized for menstruating like it's their fault. They're females. Reason why it's difficult to even tell another female you need a sanitary napkin. I agree with you. Kelly says there should be a comprehensive menstrual education class and orientation in our environments, especially in school and local communities. Also, policies should be put in place to fight against menstrual stigma in our different communities. There should be an improvement in menstrual facilities and products. Sanitary napkins or pads should be kept in open surroundings or health units in different educational institutions. This should be put in place because of the high cost of menstruation products, and the pink tax imposed on them can lead to period poverty, forcing individuals to use inadequate or unsafe materials to manage their menstruation. Would someone like to address the pink tax? Are you all familiar with a pink tax? Members of the panel.
Pink tax or
Yes.
pink tax?
No, it says pink tax. The high cost of menstruation products and the pink tax imposed. So I'm asking if you've ever heard of this tax, and if
No,
so,
I
expound.
never heard of it unless it's tagged to products. Okay, well, listeners know something around it.
Okay, Welly.
Yeah, pink tax is a new thing that is trending around the world now, where women products in general are often priced higher than male products. Actually, the products have to do with their self-care and menstrual hygiene being one of them. Personal care items like razor blades, shampoo, pads. So there is a campaign amongst women initiatives and groups to fight this pink tax, because it's basic necessity for women who are not bougie to be unaffordable. And so that's really a challenge in terms of their health and their self-confidence and self-esteem. So, I mean, I read an article about it some time ago. It just has to do with prices for women's items that are higher, a new trend around the world now.
Okay. That makes, I kind of figured that's what she was alluding to, but I didn't know if it was an actual thing. But I can say, I when you go into the store, our personal items are really costly. And when you look at the cost for men's products, I've even noticed, even when it comes, because I'm a girly who deals with hairstylism or male pattern facial hair because I have PCOS, a woman's issue, right? Um, Even our shaving products and things are more expensive. I noticed that. And so sometimes I'll just get the men's stuff because their things are cheaper. So I'm going to do a little bit more research into this pink tax. Um, that may be something to 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 stand against, or to stand up against. But thank you, Kelly, for enlightening us and sharing that with us today. Gladys is clapping. Thank you so much for being here today. And Iris says, yes, those prices are a strong challenge. Absolutely. The cost of pads is just ridiculous at this point. Hi, handsome. You're welcome into the conversation as well. And if you all will, please give me just a moment to say thank you so much to our TikTok viewers. Hello, we have people in the comments. They want to know how they can be a part of this. They want to know how they can donate. And we are getting there momentarily. So I just wanted to give you all a shout out. I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you. Okay. And Welly, I see your hand. But you're frozen. So our last question for the panel: innovations in menstrual health. What new approaches, education initiatives, and product solutions do you think are making an impact?
I want to talk about plantain stalks. I came across a company a non-profit organization in India, and they're making use of plantain stalks to produce biodegradable menstrual hygiene products. I was very much impressed by it, and I would say that's one innovation um, that's very at the same time good to manage menstrual hygiene, and also takes into account the environmental consequences that comes with managing those products, because most of the products that we have in the market are not biodegradable. So I think that that's a very good innovation to look at. That's what I have come across. I don't know about the other panelists. Thank you. Over.
That is super cool. Biodegradable products, environmentally friendly, all that good stuff. That's a really good one. That's probably something we can do a little bit of research on as well. One of our TikTok viewers, hello Harold Bad Sauce, thank you so much for watching. She says South Carolina recently removed the tax on feminine products. So that's good to know. That's a state here in the US. So thank you for sharing that information with us. Does anyone else want to share any product solutions, initiatives, or approaches that you think are impactful or have the potential to bring about positive impact or change? Okay. I would like to say that I have been
Angel,
a little. Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just want to follow up on what the commenter just said about no tax on female products. To add that there are some countries that have erased tax on menstrual hygiene products. That could be a way to encourage menstrual hygiene management, especially in less or developing countries, so that everyone can have access or everyone can afford menstrual hygiene products. I know Canada has done so. Another country, it just slipped off my mind, but many more countries are banning tax on menstrual hygiene products. So if we can advocate for that, then governments and communities that we think, because imagine that there's no tax on menstrual hygiene products in Cameroon, for example. Right now, you need about uh, $1 and more to get a pack of pads. That's for the cheapest one, but it could be less. So that's something that we should look into to push. And the mayor of the Menstrual ID Coalition is the vice president of the National Assembly. So we should be, those are the things that we should be talking about with her so that we could have a real impact, a level of policy in this country. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for expounding. Gladys Sharon says education is making an impact. However, more efforts are needed to take the information to the areas of need, especially in local, remote areas. Even here in the States, we find oftentimes that our rural areas, people who are far away from larger cities, who they get information later than everyone else, they get everything behind everyone else. They seem to lack greatly from people in cities as well. So even here in the US, I would definitely agree that making sure that people in remote areas get the education and the access to products uh, be increased as well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on. And our other bell, she seems to Alma, she seems to have, I don't know if she had to leave us or she's having some internet connection issues. So our next part of the conversation is about storytelling. So beyond statistics and policies, menstrual health is deeply personal. Right now, we want to take a moment to hear some of the lived experiences from you all. And if we have any advocates who pop back on, we would absolutely love to hear their stories. And those of you who are in the chat, if you would like to share your lived experiences, if you have a testimony of sorts to share about your menstrual hygiene journey, then please put them in the comments. I would love to read them. Ladies, do you all have a short story that you would like to share about your own personal lived experience with your period?
I don't know if Willie Sene is talking, but she looks like I don't know if she's frozen or so. Did you want to say something? Okay, she's moving. Um, I'll go first. My story, I kind of say it almost every year when we have when we launch this campaign.
Well, we
I
have people listening this year, so they've never heard it.
yeah. My experience.
Yeah.
I saw my period pretty late, and my mom. I never had a one-on-one conversation with my mom, and to think that she was a midwife for 30 years. She was a reproductive health specialist for 30 years, but we never had a one-on-one conversation around menstruation. But I had a good understanding of it because I had a very good biology teacher who was very keen on educating us around menstrual hygiene. But at home, I never had that conversation, not even with my other sisters. And I'm the last girl. So I was just left in the shadow. And I was pretty small in size. I am still. Um, I saw my period at a very later age. I think I was around 14 or 15 years before I saw my period. So um, I perceived that maybe I was oozing some level of maturity. That's why nobody was talking to me about it. I don't know. But my period came around that time, and it was one morning. I woke up from bed, and I didn't notice that my dress was stained from behind. And as the happy girl that I was, I just left the room. I went straight to the kitchen, and I was doing my thing. And my mom came into the kitchen, and she saw me, and she was like, "Oh, go and change your dress." And as stubborn as I was, I said, "Why? Why should I change my dress? Like, my dress is okay. I don't see any reason why I should change my dress." She just kept insisting, "Go and change your dress." I said, "No, mom, you cannot force me to change my dress. I mean, like, my dress is okay. I don't see anything wrong with my dress." And after insisting for a while, she asked me to take my dress from behind and check what is on it. And when I looked at it, it was all red. But in my head, it was not as red as I thought that blood would look like. I felt like maybe someone had thrown a drink on my dress or something. I just did not have any feeling in my body that something was happening. And then she said, "Go and take your shower." That's when I went to the bathroom and I took my shower. I realized that my pants and everything was all stained and so on and so forth. I came to the room. I was not embarrassed. I was just wondering what's going on with me. Is this it? Is this what's what I've been learning about? Um I mustered the courage to ask my sister for a pad, and she gave it to me, and thereon I started using it. And from that day right up to now, I still did not have a conversation with my mom, but I remember her calling us one day because she's someone who has a great sense of humor as well. She called us one day, and she was trying to educate us about pregnancy. And in the course of the discussion, she goes, now that you all have started seeing your period, if you just touch man, you'll get pregnant. I was like, what's going on? Like, she said, now you are able to have a baby. I said, have a baby how? I'm not even thinking about having a boyfriend. What is she talking about? So that's the only conversation I remember ever having with my mom. And to think that she still says the same thing to one of my cousins, my cousin's daughter who lives with us. And when she saw her period, she was like, now that you're seeing your period, just be ready. If you smell a man, you're going to get pregnant. And then she's in
Is
her,
she smelling?
what's going on? And I keep asking her, Mama, why do you keep having this conversation? I mean, have a real conversation with her. You live with her. And then there was a time when she stayed for about 2 months without seeing her period. So she came to her grandma, I've not seen my period for 2 months. And then grandma goes, then you are pregnant. she, was, she was all in her feelings and so on. So I think just like some of the commenters have said and Willie Sunny said, it really starts from the house. Once you miss it from the house, it's so difficult for anyone to tell you something, someone in the community and so on. So that's my experience. Thank you.
I never tire of hearing that story, especially when you talk about how obstinate you were, just stubborn. I'm just not going to do it, right? But I think it's really interesting how even when you have educated parents, when you have parents who are vocal outside of the home, sometimes it's a little different when it's your own children. It really is. And oftentimes, we spend a lot of time talking about people who are underserved populations of people, or people who are disenfranchised, or just all the things, right? But there are people who have the finances, they have the education, they have all the tools, and yet they become paralyzed a bit when it comes to their own children, which to me says we all need to be reminded of these things. We all need to be reminded and have the conversations. And we can't leave anyone out of the conversation, because, like you said, you have a son, and you're like, let me figure out when it's the best time, because yeah,
Uh,
no, want to make sure it's right for my child, right? And so thank you so much for sharing your story. Anyone else want to share a lived experience with us? And again, if you are watching, if you are on TikTok, let's see, we have a commenter here, Armanda Burton. She is on TikTok, y'all. Hello, Armanda, and thank you so much for joining our conversation. She says, I started my menstrual in middle school. My mother had talks with me. I was at home. So that is good. And we want to get to a place where we have more mothers doing that. She says, I have started the talk with my oldest daughter, and she is 9. Um, Software, she gave you the good job look.
yeah,
Um,
son is almost 9, and I'm like, I don't going to understand it. but the good thing is he's always with us during the campaigns. He's always wearing the red, so at least I'm doing something. So
Absolutely. And the truth is because you have him near you when you're having the conversations, he's listening.
yeah,
He's listening, and they take in more than we think they're taking in, right?
yeah.
So thank you so much for those of you who are joining on TikTok and joining the conversation. We appreciate you. Um, does anyone else want to share a story before we move on? We are almost done, y'all. We know it's Super Bowl Sunday. We don't want to stop anybody from the Super Bowl, okay? But we do want to make sure that we kick this off properly, because this is going to be our best year yet. Is that correct, ladies? We're expecting that 2025 is our best year yet for the IMHC and Menstrual Hygiene Day. Um, Before I jump into this call of action, because we talked about the issues, we've heard personal story, and so now it's really time for us to take action. And I want to share, it's not necessarily a personal story in terms of something that I went through with my cycle, but I would like to share what really made me say, I'm going to be a part of this. Even with my own organization, Speak Up Sis, going through all sorts of things. We're going through a lot in the organization, and I am going, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. I think I just want to, I don't even know if I want this anymore. I think I just want a regular job and a regular life and go get married and just go
Angel,
get old from there. But what keeps me uh, connected to the coalition, and it keeps me tied into this work, is something I heard Willa say. Excuse me, I'm overcoming the flu, y'all. So please excuse me. When we first started this, I remember her saying that there were in these camps. First thing, living in the U.S. In the time that I live in the U.S., I don't really have firsthand knowledge, if you will, of uh, camps, refugee camps, and things of that nature. We read about it. You see it in other places. We know people come here for refuge and asylum seekers. Okay, I get it. You have a head knowledge of it, but it's not something that I've experienced and I've seen firsthand. So to listen to her talk about the fact that there are little girls, this is the thing that got me. And I know that there are women that we help as well. But when she said there were little girls who are having to take care of their menses with leaves and moss from trees. Now, I'm from Savannah, Georgia. Those of you who are in the U.S. and you've been to Savannah, you know those great big trees with the moss. It's really beautiful and all the things. But to think that there's a little girl who just got her cycle at 9 years old or 10 years old, and she's using the moss, just whatever she can find, if it's an old shirt or something, and that's what she's using to catch the blood every month. That thing messed with my soul. Now, I don't know about y'all. You can sit in your cushy little house and feel real good about yourself that that's not your child. Um, but the world we're living in, none of us know if we'll get to that place because things are changing. So for me to hear that, I said, okay, I got to figure out how can I help. When she said they were making reusable pads, I was like, you can read who's reusing pads? Like it was foreign to me that people would be making pads that they would wash and reuse. And so I thought, I need to be a part of this. I need to be a part of this. I'm sharing this because what we're getting ready to do is ask you all to take action. I need you to hear this. I need you to hear everything that has been said. I need you to think about when your grandmama or your great grandmama told you that sitting next to a boy in middle school was going to make you pregnant. I want you to think about, when you first got your cycle and how embarrassed you were, or if your cycle came on in school and you didn't have any products and you were too afraid to even go ask the school nurse. I remember having such horrible pain, y'all, that I led my teacher to believe while I'm sitting in the classroom rocking and crying. I led her to believe that I was that maybe my appendix was rough. She was like, "Do you have appendicitis?" I was like, I guess so. Too afraid to to simply say that my period is on. So I was in the ninth grade and it was embarrassing, right? I need you to think about that. If you're a man, think about what your daughters go through. Think about what your wife goes through. If you're a boy, think about your mom. Women, you ain't really got to think too far because you've experienced it if you're a woman. So right now, we are going to ask you to get involved today. And there are so many different ways that you can get involved. One very special way is by being a Redvocate. And Asani or Software, would you like to share with everyone exactly what it means to be a Redvocate? Willie,
Willie, we have
we're
time hearing
talking,
you.
Willie, but we can't hear you.
Okay. Okay, everyone. Thanks for those who are still on. Thank you. We've been over an hour, but I see a lot of you are still following up and commenting. Thank you for staying with us. To be a red advocate means you're a red advocate. Red advocate is a word coined by the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition to mobilize. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me, guys? Do you hear me?
We
Yes,
can hear you loud and clear.
No. Can you hear me, Angel?
Yes, you just have a really lag. You got a lag.
Okay, I was saying that red advocate. All right. I was red advocate stands for red advocate. And this word is coined by the International Coalition to mobilize everyone to get off. Um, maybe Bell can answer. She knows what this is about, or even Bonnet.
Yeah, okay. Really, sorry for that. Yeah, when we talk of red advocate, it's a term coined by the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition to mean
Maybe network
all
issues.
those who
Bell can
support.
answer.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, I was saying that the term red advocate was coined by the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition to like to give an identity, like to give an identity to all those who are supporting the red, which we all know that menstruation is about red. So everybody who's joining the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition to talk about menstruation becomes a red advocate. It means you advocating for the red, which you're advocating for menstruation. So that's the term coined by the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Belle, for helping us out there. So listen, the Revocate is the first line of action. First line of action. All of us are Revocates. Even though we are pioneering members of the coalition, we are Revocates because we are advocating for periods. There's no cost to be a revocate. The cost to be a revocate is to support menstrual hygiene awareness. And all of you can do that. Every single one of you can do that. We have, I don't know if you all had a chance to see um, Belle Alma earlier, but she had on a Revocate t-shirt. We do have Revocate t-shirts, and we would love for you to get a t-shirt. Just connect with any one of the coalition members, and we can make sure that you get a t-shirt. I see you, Welly. So that you can wear your t-shirt just like we've got on our IMHC shirts today, or we've got red on today. You can get a Revocate t-shirt to say, I am in support of what it is that you all are doing. You can be a Revocate by helping to educate others. Whatever you're doing in your respective communities to help bring about education, awareness, to work for policy, whatever it is you're doing to support periods, okay, you can be a Revocate. We are also asking that you follow the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition's Facebook page, everybody. We also have an IG page, International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition. We are streaming live right now on that FB page. So you can follow it. All of our updates will be there. Even if you are a part of the Speak Up Sis community, or if you're a part of InfoShe, if you're a part of the Welisani Foundation or STEM Foundation, we are asking that you also follow the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition social media pages as well, because our organizations are going to have information about our organizations. But if you want to know exactly what's going on with the coalition and our efforts, you will only find that information on the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition. And you won't have to search through so much other stuff, right, to find information. So that's our first line. Be a Revocate. And let us know that you want to be a Revocate. We will place, let me see, we on the International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition's page, we will put a form link for you to actually fill out. We want to know who you are so that we can shout you out. So you'll complete the form. It's really simple. You click that you want to be a Revocate, and we want to actually have a running list of our Revocates so that we can keep you informed. Okay. You can also partner with us. If you would like to if your organization would like to partner with us, if you want to support by partnering and giving in kind donations, if your organization wants to donate pads or any types of products that we may need, or anything that we may need to ensure that the coalition is able to run properly and efficiently, then you can partner with us. We are open to sitting and talking with you about how you can partner. If there's something special and unique that you are able to provide to the coalition, we're happy to connect with you. That same form will allow you to partner with us as well. We are always looking for sponsors, commercial sponsors, sponsors from small businesses, large organizations, private entities, individual persons who would like to sponsor. You do not have to be a business owner. You do not have to run an organization. If you are someone who would simply like to be a sponsor, you can do that via the same form. And we're going to add that form to the social media sites as well. Or you can connect with any of the coalition members, and we will get that link to you if you are not on FB or IG. Okay. You can also be one of the coalition members. We do have a membership drive, and you can also select on that same form that you would like to be a member of the coalition. So if you would like to participate in any of those forms or those methods, then all you have to do is submit the form, and then the committee will get back to you and we can go from there. We would absolutely love to have more replicants, more partnerships, of course, sponsored dollars and members, okay, added to the coalition. We would also like to kick off our donation campaign as well. We are working, and we will post on our social media platforms what our donation amount is going to be, what our target is for this year. But we are just kicking it off today to let you all know that it is time to donate. And we are asking for financial donations to the coalition. We have got some things that we're working on this year. Our primary target for our 2025 year is to be able to wrap up the work that we've been doing at one of the Adagon camps in Nigeria. We have been going there and taking pads. For years, we have been taking pads and educating girls and women in the camp. But last year, with you all's help, so I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much. With you all's help, we were able to open, I want to say, 3 pad banks. There's one in Augusta, Georgia, located at the Speak Up Sis Empowerment Center. Belle was just talking to you all. There's one at the university where she is, and then there is another that is at one of the camps in Nigeria. We want to wrap that camp up this year by making it fully sustainable so that they're able to run that pad bank and have what they need, so we don't have to keep delivering pads every year. This year, with you all's help, or excuse me, 2024, with you all's help, we were able to actually have a pad bank built there. It's up. Yes. Yay. There are some things in there, but we are wanting to help make things sustainable for them. So we want to add sewing machines. We want to make sure that girls and women are able to make reusable pads there so that they can go directly to their bank and get what they need without having us to have to go take it to them every year. We are almost done with this project, y'all. So the financial support that you all are going to provide this year is going to help us finalize that project that we've been working on for several years now. And it will help us begin to establish another pad bank in Cameroon as well. And we're going to be working on lots of other things. And we'll share more about that throughout this campaign leading up to May 28th. So I just want you, we want you all to know where your funds are going to directly go to this year. Your funds also help us to be able to run the coalition in order to have our website, in order to make sure that we also, just if you ladies don't mind me saying, we also have given, I'm gonna call it a love offering, to the men who helped to put our pad bank together in Nigeria. And we did not have the funds from the coalition to do it. So each of the coalition members, from their own, what Welly says, our own coffers, made sure that they were able to receive a financial gift from the coalition for helping us. So when we're raising funds, none of our organizations are getting any money. I just want to make sure that I'm clear on that. Speak Up Sis is not getting money. Nobody's getting these monies. All of the money is for the coalition and the work that we do. Okay? Does anyone else want to add to anything that I have said? No? Okay. So we are going to, if you will please, right now, if you'll go to Facebook and follow, I need everybody right now to follow our FB page, because that is where we are going to post all of the information on how you can give. I'm going to post it on that page. And we are going to start our giving campaign today. And you're going to have many opportunities. Please don't think that you only have to donate once. Like, oh, I gave $10 today. May 28th is Menstrual Hygiene Day. However, we're going to have other fundraising activities, and we're going to be raising funds for a few months. So if you give $10 today, and then you get an extra $5, in a couple of weeks or next month, if you want to put us on a regular schedule of giving for the next few months, we will accept that. Please don't think you only have to give one time. You can give as often as you would like to help us reach our goals. And here again, we'll put those goals up on our page so that you can see them in writing. Hold on a second. I thought somebody had a question here. Does anyone who's watching, do you have any questions, any specific questions for us at this time? Put them in the comments. We would love to answer them and address any questions, any concerns that you may have while we're on live. We are also preparing for our Red Charity Galas, which is a very fun part, a very beautiful part of our fundraising efforts every year. There is a gala that takes place in Cameroon, and they're starting as of last year in Augusta. We have a Red Charity Gala that takes place at the Speak Up Sis Empowerment Center. We will be giving out more information. We would love for you all to be a part of those galas. Those are fundraising opportunities. I want to make sure that I stress that. So there will be ticket sales. We will have opportunities for you to give during those galas as well. So make sure that you're following our social media so that you can get all of that information, so you'll know the dates. We would love for you to be there. We would love for you to participate. And we absolutely need your help in spreading the word for all of the different activities that we are going to be doing. We are also going to be sharing information throughout the months leading up to May 28th on our social media platforms, just little snippets of information about menstrual hygiene, videos, graphics, things of that nature. So please invite people to join our social media pages, especially young people, and as well as other companies, organizations who would like to join us in this work that we're doing. Ladies, do you all have anything else to say?
Just to join my voice to yours, Angel, to thank everyone who has been part of this, and to really call on all the participants here today, and we should spread the word around that people should join us this year to make our activities bigger. Be a advocate, be a partner, be a sponsor, be a donor. Just find a way to be part of this. Add your voice to the conversation. Give us your platform so that we can spread the word. We want to break the stigma around menstruation. So we are counting on your support, on your voice to make this happen. And we want to make sure that every girl is able to manage her period in privacy, in safety, and in dignity. Secondly, for the upcoming Red Charity, we're going to have 2 flyers that we are going to put out in the days ahead to give you the actual dates, so you can start to look for your red outfits, or you can start to buy your red t-shirts and be part of this wonderful initiative. And of course, we also have activities in schools. If you are a proprietor or a teacher in an institution, we can work with you. So just invite us, and we can have menstrual hygiene conversations with sexual and reproductive health and rights experts. and also with our advocates coming along. But I just want to say, please, we need your support through this journey. We cannot do it alone. So let us all join in the fight against menstrual hygiene stigma and shame, and make it menstrual hygiene products affordable for and available for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Welasani. And Alma, we thank you so much for your attempts to be here. That is very meaningful. The fact that you have a desire to be here, the fact that you have attempted to be in this conversation, we appreciate you, and I want you to know that that we definitely appreciate you being here. Last remarks. Does anyone have anything else to say prior to wrapping this for the evening? Okay. We have had an incredible and an insightful town hall meeting this year. I want to give a huge thank you to our keynote speaker, Welasani, and our leader for the coalition, as well as the panelists who have been here tonight, Ms. Bell and Ms. Southway. I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing your insights. Thank you for helping to organize everything that we do with the coalition. And most importantly, to all of you who join and engage in this discussion, remember the conversation doesn't stop here. Keep talking, keep advocating, and keep taking action. Be sure to follow us on our social media at International Menstrual Hygiene Coalition on both Facebook and Instagram, and share what you've learned today and stay connected. Together, we can make menstrual equity a reality for everyone. And until next time, take care, and please keep the red movement alive. We will see you all again real soon. Make sure you follow us. Ladies, y'all have a good night. I love you all.
Love
And
you too.
soon.
Bye.
Love you too, sis.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for being part of this. We appreciate